Hello, I'm Latifa Rahman. My nickname is Vidita. You can call me Vidita. I'm doing my master's in science of education on school building leadership, specialization on instructional technology in education and educational administration at School of Education St. John's University, New York. And I am really appreciated to taking a course from Harvard, Voc Teaching Certificate, Higher Education Pedagogy. I really appreciate that the learning and teaching style, what I learned, and learning pedagogy, and also teaching pedagogy, and also like teaching portfolio and micro teaching. It's really amazed me. So I feel that do not keep it on you, the learning. Okay, go and express your appreciation to these peoples as feeling gratitude and not expressing it is like wrapping a present and not giving it. And also I'm right now I'm graduate research assistant at Department of Administrative and Instructional Leadership, School Building Leadership, and School of Education, St. John's University, New York. And I'm a educational writer since 2 years and also article writer last 5 years. I had also administrative experiences from French Institute, and I'm also French teacher when I was in Bangladesh. So today I'm gonna tell you about backward design. What is that actually? What do you think about backward design? It's deliberate and focused instructional design requires us as teachers and curriculum writers to make an important shift in our thinking about the nature of our job. The shift involves thinking a great deal first about the specific learning sought and the evidence of such learning before thinking about what we as a teacher will do or provide in teaching and learning activities. Like through consideration about what to teach and how to teach, it may dominate our thinking as a matter of habit. Like the challenge is to focus first on the desired and learning from which appropriate teaching will logically follow. Our lesson units and courses should be logically inferred from the result sought, not derived from the methods, books, activities with which we are most comfortable. Like curriculum should lay out the most effective ways of achieving specific result. It is like analogs to travel planning. Our framework should provide a set of deliberately designed to meet cultural goals rather than the purposeless tour of all the major sites in the foreign country. In short, the best design derived backward from the learning sought. The appropriateness of this approach becomes clearer when we consider the educational purpose in the focus of this book, understanding. How we understand and which material activities to use until we are quite clear about which specific understanding we are after and what such understanding look like in practice. We can best describe as guides what sites to have our students, tourists visit, what specific culture, like what they experience in their brief time. They're only if we are clear about particular understanding about the culture we want them to take home, isn't it? Only by having specified the result, the desired result, can we focus on the content, methods, or activities most likely to achieve this result? Is it? What do you think? I think teachers begin with remain focused on the textbook, favored lessons, and time honored activities. The inputs rather than driving those means from what is implied in the desired result output. To put in an odd way, too many teachers focus on the teaching and not the learning. They spend most of their time thinking first about what they will do, what materials they will use, and what they will ask students to do rather than the first considering what the learner will need in order to accomplish the learning goal. I believe that consider a typical episode of what might be called content focus. It designed instead of result focused design. The teacher might base a lesson on a particular topic, select a resource, choose specific instructional method based on the resource and topic, and hope thereby to cause learning. Finally, the teacher might think up a few essay questions and quizzes for the assessing student understanding of the book. I think this approach is so common that we may well be tempted to reply, what could be wrong with such an approach? The short answer lies in the basic question of purpose. Why are we asking question to read this particular novel? In other words, what learning will we seek from this having to read it? Do the students grasp why and how the purpose should influence their studying? What should students be expected to understanding and do upon reading the book related to our goal beyond the book? Unless we begin our design work with a clear insight into larger purposes, whereby the book is properly thought of as a means to educational end, not an end up to itself, it is unlikely that all students will understand the book and their performance obligation without being self-conscious of the specific understanding about prejudice we seek and how reading and discussing the book will help such insights. The goal is far too vague. The approach is more by hope than by design. Such an approach ends up unwittingly being one that could be described like this: through such content and activities against the world, and hope some of it sticks. Answering the question, why and what? This question the older students always ask or want to, and doing so and in concrete time terms as the focus to curriculum planning is thus the sense of understanding by design. What is difficult for many teachers to see, but easier for students to feel, is that without such explicit and transparent priorities, many students find day-to-day work confusing and frustrating. I usually think that the 3 stages of backward design is understandable. One is identify desired result. 2 is determine acceptable evidence. And final and 3 is plan learning experiences and instruction. I think this backward design may be thought of, in other words, as purposeful task analysis. Given a ordered task to be accomplished, how do we best get everyone equipped? Or we might think of it as building wise, using a map. Given a destination, what's the most effective and efficient route? Or we might think of it as planning for coaching. What learners must master if they are to effectively perform? What will count as evidence on the field? Not merely drills that they really get it and are ready to perform with understanding, knowledge, skill on their own. How will the learning be designed so that learner capacity are developed through use the feedbacks? I think the rubber meets the road with assessment. Three different teachers may all be working towards the same content standards, but if their assessment vary considerably, how are we to know which students have achieved what? Agreement on needed evidence of learning things to lead for great curriculum and more reliable evaluation by teachers. I think it's important for long-term gain in teacher, student, parent insight about what doesn't count as evidence of meeting complex standards. I think the major change of common practice as designers must begin to think for assessment before designing or deciding what and how they will teach. That's all for today. Thank you very much. Good night.